Hi, this is Jim Starkweather, the publisher of Kitmaker Network and Aeroscale, and welcome to another Cracking the Box. Today we have for you something special. This is the 1/32nd scale de Havilland Mosquito FB Mk.VI. I am not an expert on this plane. I will be doing an unboxing though, and showing you some detailed photos of what's inside the box. If you want an expert review, I'm sure there's some channels out there or some sites out there that are offering those, and we will have either a build feature or build review, whatever we can get at some point in the future. But what we want to do right now is just kind of show you what's going to be in the box. So about this release, there's some rather interesting details that in terms of the way Tamiya is doing it. This is going to be the export version only. This version has some clear cowling parts similar to what they did with the Birdcage, the Corsair. Also, they're going to be doing an interesting release model. This is going to be released internationally in about a few weeks, the 3rd week of July 2015. It will be released in Japan 3 months after that date. So they will be doing kind of a protected period where the kit isn't really available for people to import or export out of Japan to potentially get lower prices and things like that. Obviously, they're trying to protect their international distributors and retailers to some degree. They probably feel like it's a release worthy of that kind of treatment. We'll see how it goes, and I'm sure we'll get some interesting feedback on that. But before we do the unboxing portion of this video, and after that I follow that up with detailed photos, let's do a little bit of background on this, because like I said, I'm not an expert on this plane, so I'd actually kind of like to learn a little bit about it myself before I do the unboxing. So let's go to that.
The de Havilland DH-98 Mosquito was a British multi-role combat aircraft with a 2-man crew that served during and after the Second World War. It was one of the few operational frontline aircraft of the era constructed almost entirely out of wood and was nicknamed the Wooden Wonder. The Mosquito was also known affectionately as the Mossie to its crews. Originally conceived as an unarmed fast bomber, the Mosquito was adapted to roles including low to medium altitude daytime tactical bomber, high altitude night bomber, pathfinder, day or night fighter, fighter bomber, intruder, maritime strike aircraft, and fast photo reconnaissance aircraft. From mid-1942 to mid-1943, Mosquito bombers flew high-speed, medium, or low-altitude missions against factories, railways, and other pinpoint targets in Germany and German-occupied Europe. They were also used as nuisance bombers, often dropping blockbuster bombs, 4,000-pound cookies, in high-altitude, high-speed raids that German night fighters were almost powerless to intercept. As a night fighter from mid-1942 on, the Mosquito intercepted Luftwaffe raids on the United Kingdom, notably defeating Operation Steinbock in 1944. Starting in July 1942, Mosquito night fighter units raided Luftwaffe airfields. As a fighter bomber in the 2nd Tactical Air Force, the Mosquito took part in special raids, such as the attack on the Amiens prison in early 1944, and in precision attacks against Gestapo or German intelligence and security forces. 2nd Tactical Air Force Mosquito supported the British Army during the 1944 Normandy campaign. During the 1950s, the RAF ultimately replaced the Mosquito with the jet-powered English electric Canberra.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of background information on the de Havilland Mosquito, also known as the Mossie. I'm not quite sure why it gets converting from Mosquito to spelling of M-O-S-S-I-E to pronunciation of Mossie. There's no Z sound in Mosquito. Mosquito? I don't get it. But, you know, that's just me. All right, well, yeah, let's crack her open, shall we? As I mentioned earlier, the export version only sticker is included on this one, so it has these clear engine cowling parts. 1/32nd scale, of course. Aircraft series number 26. Fuselage length is 394 millimeters and wingspan is 515 millimeters. Ooh, that sounded awful. On the side of the box here, we've got a couple of different paint schemes and markings. RAF number 1 Squadron, Lubuan, Borneo, August 1945. I'm going to have to start getting reading glasses for these. I think my eyes are starting to go. The RAF number 305 Polish Squadron, Lasham Airfield, UK, spring 1944. Let's see what's And on this side, we've got some actual shots of the finished aircraft with some undersides of the bomb bays and gun areas, loading areas, the pilot, co-pilot seating area, cockpit, and then some of these cowlings removed and showing the internal engine parts under maintenance. And they also have a nice little photo here of a pilot figure, which I assume comes with the kit. Alright, well, let's go ahead and crack her open finally, shall we? Alright, so inside the kit you can see there is a nice section here segmented with clear parts on this side, and they look rather frosty in nature. I'm not sure. Oh, these are the cowling parts, right? These are the cowlings. Yeah, here's the clear. Sorry. So the cowling parts are kind of a little bit hazy. I don't know if you can see that. Probably be able to see them in the pictures better. And then here's the clear plastic. I'm not going to take anything out right now. We'll do that next, but I'm just going to kind of unbox first. And that has quite a few different other clear parts. Various instrumentation, lenses, lighting, covers, I think, and things like that. Also on this side we have a piece of photo etch which appears to be glued down, so I don't want to mess with that too much right now. And then lifting this piece out, we've got again some of the kind of filter effect cowling covers, and then we have the regular covers obviously that would go on the aircraft if you're not showing it with the clear parts. The wings, two different sprue sets here, individually wrapped or individually in plastic with staples on them. Not getting a great look at the detail, obviously, like you, but let's go ahead and unbox. Let's go ahead and take the plastic out, and then I'll go through some of the individual pieces and take a look at them. Yeah, so I'm not going to really get a whole lot of detail. Let me just skip ahead. So, again, here's the clear pieces versus the regular polyurethane plastic pieces. Some of the figures, and it looks like there are at least 2 figures included with this. Pilot, co-pilot, I assume. Looks like one in the cockpit, one out of the cockpit. Here's some of the rear tail fuselage areas, main fuselage, and some of the rear stabilizers, and I believe some of the maybe ailerons and various flaps and things. And again, some of the main fuselage. I believe this is near the front, the nose, and so forth. And this little slide mold injected looking piece here, which is another nose part, I believe. The propellers and other various bits, some wingtip sections there, some maybe some landing gear, looks like internal detail as well as the external part. A correction piece which states use this sheet instead of the corresponding instructions in number 104. Here we have some of the cockpit detail, which looks very nice, but again I'll reserve that for actually taking a look at it closer up. And then this piece, which is no idea, the underside, I believe, one of the underside bay areas. Looks like the kit's going to include some masks for your cockpit area, as well as the decal sheet, obviously, and another probably other markings that go on the plane, I'm assuming. Again, we'll get a closer look at that. Another basic sprue set with some of the guns, other internal part details, and such. Engine, exhaust manifolds. Some of the same parts on a different, slightly extended sprue sheet. So this one's this one, but with an extended piece over here with these parts. Believe maybe some of the engine block details and other engine parts, 2 of those, and guessing part of the tail section. I'm not sure where those are going to be going, but. And then lastly, a set with 2 corresponding clones, sprues of more internal structure detail, landing gear maybe. No, a lot of must be the internal bomb bay area, or areas where we're getting a lot of, again, this was a wooden plane, so a lot of the internal structural details of how the plane was put together. Okay, so we have a big, giant open thing. Let's go ahead and open this. I believe this is, oh, this is just taped. And spill this out. Looks like we got another little notice thing here. This one says, transparent E&F parts, engine cowls. Only one set of photo etch parts and magnets for engine cowls E&F parts is included. Choose from clear or standard E&F parts for your models. Apply a thick coat of clear to both sides and outside surfaces of transparent E&F parts to enhance their transparency. Okay. I guess clear helps enhance the transparency. Interesting. I guess maybe it smooths over the haze effect and maybe makes it clearer again. Oh, that's interesting. Then we have a nice little. Is this the instruction sheet? Yeah, I guess this is the instruction sheet, or is this a reference? No, this is the reference sheet. Okay, nice clear, nice colored reference thing here with lots of good referencey information. Reference-like information, yes, that's it. And then in the center section here, it does deal with some of the markings, I believe, or at least some of the pointing out various aspects of the plane. Yeah, those aren't markings; they're just different corresponding, telling about different details, I think. And then they actually have some color photos here of actual interior shots of cargo and the cockpit and so forth. Then we have I believe this is going to be a fold-out marking, actually more of like a poster, which this one got a little bit messed up. I think it could be easily fixed. Now this does have some markings on it with some Tamiya colors, AS9, AS32. This is the Royal New Zealand Navy Air Force number 487 Squadron Hunsdon Airfield, UK, 18 February 1944, Operation Jericho. And then lastly, we have the actual instruction sheet, which is going to be typical Tamiya layout, and lots and lots of step-by-step instructions for putting all these mini plastic parts together. You can see whole pages on just putting the weapons bay and stuff and the bomb bay together is quite a bit of detail. I think you would be able to spend many hours building such a plane. Yeah. So one of the figures is showing. Maybe it's okay. So there's a pilot. There's a navigator. I guess I wasn't counting parts very well. And then there's a second navigator. It's Navigator A, Navigator B. So I guess you can show. I think it's only a two-manned aircraft. Yeah. So and then finally these are the actual other marking and diagrams. I know that word, diagrams. All right, so let's go ahead and take some of the other plastic parts out, and we'll see what's what. What do we want to look at first? Let's look at one of these clear parts since we started with those. I might readjust my camera. All right, well, I readjusted my camera a bit, so hopefully this will work. Here are some of the what I would assume are slide molded parts, the way they're in these little kind of frame constructions here. So only a single connection point for these cowling covers. Again, you can kind of see definitely a smoky effect here, but the instructions say that it's spraying on clear. And there's a little middle section that you're going to have to cut out. So let's take a look at some of the. Well, let's take a look at that same part here with the with just the plastic. Again, same construction. Little kind of bubble down here at the bottom, which I'm sure is just part of the original aircraft construction. Some kind of sensor or something, maybe. Nice, very faint rivet detail and panel line detail. I'm not sure the camera's going to get this, but I can't quite see from where I'm at, so. But definitely in the photos I'll try to capture the very fine panel line detail I'm seeing here. In fact, I can take a look at it under my magnifying glass, just to, too bad I can't do that with the camera. But yeah, very nice. I could overlay some photos in these while I'm talking about it, I suppose. It'll probably take me longer to get the video out if I do that. Alright, here's one of the wing detail areas. And again, wow, seeing some very fine line panel details here. There's kind of a zigzag pattern. There's a seam with rivets on either side. Sprues, whatever they are. Not rivets, I realize that. Not rivets on an airplane, no, just airplane, you know, in stainless, probably little screws. But some interesting, just in terms of just seeing some kind of plastic construction-y things, but nothing that's actually, you know, showing up in terms of, you know, feeling anything. Some rough spots here, but I think they're part of the. Let me take a look at that. Part of the. And then internal detail, you can see some pushpin marks, obviously, to get this out, but that's all internal, so nothing there, nothing there or there. And again, really fine panel line detail on here. Looks very nice. Here's that larger segment, which I believe is the rear tail section, I want to say. And again, there's a hatch here that is just very fine detail. All looks really good. No flash. No, you know, what you would expect from obviously Tamiya modern release or any large scale manufacturer plastic model release. Very clean, very nice. Here's this underside, I believe, bay area. And again, this looks to be problem-free in terms of just general production issues. Can't speak to the accuracy. There's some definite interior detail here with some fine brake lines or other kinds of wiring, probably wiring, and some interesting details here on the. I assume these are the seats. Some very fine texture detailing. All looks very nice. Here's the one with some of the figures. And again, the figures have things like their front torso is actually one piece, and their backside is one piece, I think, or they've just molded right into the chair. Nope, their backside is there. Oh, and they've flattened their back, basically, like where they go onto the chairs, you know, because people are going to be pushed all the way up. That, I think that does actually help, because you don't get those figures who kind of like, you know, if you do the whole figure, then when you push them up against something, you really can't get them up flat against something like the cockpit chair. So that's a nice attention to detail. I'm not sure they've done that before on prior releases, but looking at the figures, they're 1/32 scale, and they, compared to say 1/35 scale, I know pilots were sometimes smaller guys, but I swear these hands look smaller than 1/35 scale hands. But it could just be, again, size of pilot, size of the overall figure themselves. But 1/32 scale, obviously, figures should be slightly larger than 1/35 scale figures, so slightly, very slightly. And here's one of the guessing vertical, the vertical tail rudder fin. That thing that goes on the back, you know, with the makes the plane go left and right, or at least shift left, shift right. Yeah, that's me and my technical plane knowledge. But there's a nice detail on there. The ribbing on this piece is very nice. So curious, with being made out of wood. I mean, looking at it, it looks like you know, a typical aircraft aluminum-made plane. But I mean, obviously, it's wood and it's been sanded down. I guess that's why there's not so many rivets and so forth. This is the other wing sections. We already looked at that one. Here are some of the clear parts that were in another section, but these are the more engine cowlings and stuff and things like that, I believe. But I guess that is, you know, looking at these pieces where there would normally be a lot of screw or rivet detail, whatever you want to call it. This one, you can see them. They're fine, kind of like. I mean, are those nails? Or that's like, are they screws? Were they? I assume it was screwed together, maybe from different wood parts. So maybe those are just the screws and where the seams are with the various wood pieces. But yeah, very nice. And here's one of those engine block parts. And on here we have, guessing this was a V12. There's six ports here on the side for cylinders and so forth. V12 Merlin engine, is it? I'm not sure. That part I don't remember. There's this extended piece, or piece of, there's a duplicate piece of this without this end section here. But again, some of the exhaust manifolds, other turbo supercharger elements, I believe. Turbocharged planes in World War II, that would be funny. And some of the main armament. And then again, this is that section that's just one piece added on for this sprue only. But yeah, a lot of great little detail here. If you want to see more close-up detail shots, just wait for the photos or skip ahead. This is the one that includes, this is one of the few that actually includes 2 screws in one bag. It is the same piece though, I believe. Just flipped around, yeah. So this one has some of the wheels, and they've an interesting concept here with the wheel in that they separated off the sidewall detail, and they've made it two pieces, obviously, this piece fitting into this, and then the back sections going, or the sidewall sections gluing on over to the top of that. Some nice detail there in terms of a plastic wheel. And then the tread sections are actually separate sections gluing onto top of those. Wow, that is a lot of detail for one wheel. Interesting way to do it. I'm curious what their position as a manufacturer, or even just to make the most accurate model is on something like that. Why they can't just cast a wheel, like a lot of aftermarket companies do, obviously, out of one piece. It's really fine detail there with that, whatever that is that I was almost breaking there. And again, some of the tubular frame structural detail there, probably in the landing bays, I'm guessing. This piece includes a lot of the, or some of these are the engine, maybe the lower engine coverings. They're two-sided. You can see quite a bit of detail on the inside of this as well as what's on the outside. And again, the outside is pretty smooth, although you can see fine panel lines with just little double dots in some areas. So someone familiar with how they put the plane together can maybe comment on that in terms of are they screws or are they nails? I'm sure they're not nails, but doubt they'd be rivets in a wooden plane, so I assume they're screws. Again, this is some nice internal detail of the cockpit floor, I believe, and then some of these components with hydraulic lines or such coming out of them. They look very nice. Some of these have two-sided detail as well. So very nice. And this is one of the other few ones that has two in one bag, and it's the propellers and other detail from those areas of the airplane. The nose cones, the propellers are obviously single arrangements. This must be, I think these are the rear horizontal horizontal stabilizer, ailerons, rudders, thingies that move up and down, make the plane go flip around and stuff. Yeah, so very nice details on that one too. And just a couple ones left. This one is the nose of the aircraft, some of the points at which the main guns fire out from underneath. Here's that section of the fuselage with the door, and again, more of these fine panel lines, and a slide molded piece of the front. I can only assume that's maybe the front nose cover. Probably covers up some of the front armament access points and things like that. I'm not sure what that is. Interesting. It's kind of it's actually one piece there with a little piece in the middle. And yeah, very nice. Moving on. And lastly, maybe, because this is one of these two we've done. There's some clear plastic parts after this, actually, though I haven't done. All right, so last of the gray polystyrene, and these are mostly all additional wingtip flaps and things like that. Not sure what that piece is right there. Is that part of the rear horizontal stabilizer? No. Maybe. Not sure. But again, lots of really fine details. Now these, maybe the flaps and such were made of metal, because these are a lot thicker rays. I can feel all the screws, whatever the rivets detail. I can feel that when I'm just like rubbing over these parts. But not these. These are smooth. But for some reason, that section, anyways, it's smooth on this side. But these two sections have very, very stronger rivets. I will call them rivets until I know what's better to call them. Here's the clear smoked piece version of the engine cowling detail-y areas. And you can see just from my fingers there that you would be able to see quite a bit underneath there, even if they don't clear up more than that, but they supposedly do based on the instructions. And then lastly is the cockpit and other clear parts, and you can see the cockpit is wrapped in its own little bag. I'm not going to take it out of there. I'll take it out of there to photograph it. I'm not going to handle it right now. I just don't want to mess it up. But it looks very nice. It looks like there's a lot of detail in the actual frame construction or the metal portions of the cockpit canopy. That looks very nice. And then this piece includes a lot of some other details. Not sure where some of these clear parts go, but obviously some cockpit parts there and some other ones here, I think for actual dials and so forth. That looks very nice. So let's go ahead and what photos I haven't shown in this portion of unboxing, we'll go ahead and show the rest of the photos, and we will come back and conclude.
Well, I'm going to do this a little differently than I've done in the past. I'm going to actually be talking while the photos are still ongoing here, and I apologize for no music behind it because I kind of like the music. Basically, it took me about a week to do this video, and I was really impressed by this kit. I hope you took the time to notice some of these photos and some of the excellent detail quality, much like their recent release or their upcoming release of the 135th scale Panther in armor that they're putting out. I really think Tamiya with these kits is raising up the bar a little bit. There's some excellent slide molding, obviously, and some things that are very high tech, but there's just a lot of really attention to detail, and I'm seeing it in this kit that it's just there. Not speaking about the accuracy, I mean, obviously there are experts who might say, this little part is at the wrong angle, or something's out of whack. But generally speaking, I'm hoping that manufacturers are taking advantage of all the three-dimensional CAD scanning and things like that they can do these days, and I'm sure a lot of these kinds of errors are going to become, to some degree, a thing of the past, at least for the major releases where there are still source vehicles and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed these photos, and like I said, I hope you got a really good glimpse of them. Here's some of the wheels, and the way these wheels go together with all these different parts was quite innovative. As I think I quoted in the earlier part, though, I'm still not sure how that exactly is going to be better than a single piece, say resin or aftermarket piece. But anyways, that said, I'd like to thank Tamiya USA, obviously, for sending us this review copy, and would like to get it out there for an actual review, not just me talking about the kit without any real kind of experience or knowledge of the plane before really getting sucked into this. It's basically the way it happens with me. I mean, I see things that come out and I'm like, wow, I never even knew such a thing existed. So I get to be more like Joe below average modeler here, like with various things. That's not to say I'm not in awe of you guys who know every little detail and of historical fact or so forth about planes and their missions and tanks and their, how many units of this were made and that were made. I wish I could stuff my head with that much useful knowledge, but unfortunately it's already stuffed with lots of other things, mostly Star Wars trivia. So that said, again, we'll move on, and if you have any comments or feedback, please leave them in the comments section below. You can, of course, like this video, whether it's on our website or on YouTube, and we encourage you to do that so that we can get more people to see the video and more interest in them. We are obviously a community of scale modelers, and we want to try to pull in as many other people into our community as possible. So that said, again, and I'm going to stop saying that said because, I've overdone it in this video, obviously. But not obviously. I can use that one a couple more times. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.